the last couple of times I came through this way, it was later in the morning and it was overcast, so it wasn't nearly this pretty. In fact, last time I came through here on my V-Star 5 years ago, it was raining. So it wasn't nearly this pretty at all. Wow, this is just gorgeous. I'll be ready to get back into some sunlight though. My fingers are cold. I've got some full finger gloves, but didn't bother to put them on. Didn't really think I would need them. And I won't need them as soon as I get back into the sunlight. Sun's bright. Well, I didn't think about it ahead of time when I left, but I'm hitting that morning rush hour traffic coming into Louisville. It was backed up quite a bit, a couple miles back around the airport. And now we're heading in toward downtown. But, you know, it's really not that bad. I think New Orleans is worse, to be honest. And I can't really compare it to Atlanta. I've only driven through Atlanta a handful of times, and that was always in the middle of the day, so not really the morning or afternoon rush hour period. I know a lot of people complain about Atlanta being bad. I don't know. It's all relative, I guess. You know, one thing riding a motorcycle will teach you as a driver is spacing. You know, leaving yourself plenty of space between you and the vehicle in front of you. Man, I get so irritated by people that are following me too close, especially when I'm on the motorcycle. You know, right now the distance between me and that car ahead of me is a good semi-truck's length with a trailer. But people see that, and man, they'll dart right in there. And then I just have to get off the throttle and back up a little more. And you keep doing that. It kind of sucks because you feel like you're going backwards. But following too close can get you into trouble real quick. Downtown Louisville. It's kind of a neat town. Alright, now we're north side of Indianapolis. I had some issues with the camera. I lost the link up with the remote. So I didn't record anything going through Indianapolis, but it's about 20 minutes after 9 o'clock Central Time, which is my time, and it's still only 69 degrees. Y'all, I am freezing. Not really freezing. I've got my jacket on, but I'm cold. This is not normal for me. I'm used to well over 90 degrees by this time of the morning. I don't like this. This is not my kind of temperature. It's overcast. There is some rain heading in from the west this afternoon. I haven't looked at the radar yet, but some of the weather reports on the radio that I've heard are given a pretty good chance for rain. Some shredded tire bits here on the highway I'm trying to avoid. Looks like it's all little bits and pieces. I haven't seen any large clumps yet. Okay. Anyway, about 25-30 miles from Muncie, where I'm going to stop and see the National Flying Site for the Academy of Model Aeronautics. Just about into the farm country again now. Once we left the city, it turns into countryside pretty quick. Muncie, 37 miles, alright. Well, I'll tell you what, Indiana's doing a lot of highway construction. A lot of the southern drive into the state before getting to Indianapolis was all road construction like this. Seeing signs for it saying they're look ahead, look forward to next level highway construction or something like that. I hope it's all worth it in the end. Good grief. What really sucks about it is that there's like 29-30 miles of this and it's all lower speed limit. Even the lanes that are open are crappy. All right, this is the International Aero Modeling Center in Muncie, Indiana, the home of the Academy of Model Aeronautics. And there's actually currently some competitions going on. There's a couple of free flight model competitions. And then tomorrow a control line competition starts. So there may actually be a few guys out practicing today, maybe. You can see some of the tents already set up for the scoring and judging tables. This is a huge, huge facility. Guys use older little mopeds and four-wheelers and whatnot to go retrieve their models after they've flown away. There's somebody walking out with one. All right, there's radio control and there's free flight. These guys are doing what's called free flight. They all have a little gas motor on them. Holds a thimble full of fuel. And they let them go, and once the fuel runs out, it just kind of goes off on its own. They set them to circle in a large circle. But they're pretty much at the mercy of the wind. And those are timed events. And some will use what's called a dethermalizer on it. And it kicks up the elevator surface and creates drag and then brings the airplane down so it doesn't float away. That is the AMA, the Academy of Model Aeronautics, Muncie, Indiana. All right, now to get gas. Like right up here. Some beautiful Indiana countryside. This is what northern Indiana is to me. This is every childhood memory right here. Out on a back country road. At that time would have been driving through farm fields. Heck, there were times I was even out on a bicycle out on back country roads, miles from home. Yes, sirree. This is exactly the way I remember it. The way I want to remember it. I don't want it to change. I don't live here anymore, but you know, it's when you grew up somewhere and you move away, every time you come back, you see changes. And it's different for the people that stay there. You know, the changes are happening around them, but because they're there every day, they don't notice them quite as much. But when you move away and you come back maybe every 5 years or less sometimes, you know, you notice these changes. They stick out. you can't help but notice. And the cities just keep getting bigger and growing out wider. That was one thing I noticed riding through Indianapolis earlier this morning, was how much it expanded. You know, Fishers, Indiana, which is on the north side of Indy. My aunt and uncle on my mom's side lived down there. And when they moved into that area 30 years ago, they were outskirts of Indianapolis. You know, they weren't, there was nothing from Indianapolis that was encroaching on them. But now you look at it, Indianapolis has swallowed Fishers, Indiana up. So it's, you know, it's almost sad. Every square inch of land around Fishers is occupied by something. You know, this is what I miss. And there are places like this in Alabama too, don't get me wrong. You know, north of Mobile where I live, there's farm fields like this. And parts of it do remind me of home, of Indiana, where I grew up. You know, and this will never be home to me again. I'll never live in Indiana again. But in my heart, it will always be home. Now, this is Indiana State Road 5, State Highway 5. I just left Huntington, Indiana, and I'm heading up towards Syracuse, where Mom and Dad live now. I was going to get back on the interstate, I-69, heading toward Fort Wayne, and then from there I was going to go north of Fort Wayne into Auburn and go to the Auburn Cord-Duesenberg Museum, but it's getting a little later in the afternoon, and I may have to skip this trip. One of these days I'll make it there, but I don't think it's going to happen this time. And the weather, I don't know if you can see, there are some more blue skies poking through the clouds. I checked the radar before I left the restaurant where I had lunch earlier, and it looks like all that weather is to the south of me now. It's hitting central and southern Indiana, and I'm more in the north central part of the state. So it looks like I lucked out again. Okay, this is Syracuse, Indiana. It's Friday evening, about 6 o'clock Eastern time, which is the time zone they're on here. I'm on Central time, so 5:01 my time. I've actually just spent the last couple hours at my parents' house, their cottage on Papakichi Lake, Lake Papakichi. But now I'm heading over to the hotel where I'll be staying for the next 3 nights. Okay, so the hotel should be up here on the right, not too far. Oh, that's it right there. Brook Point Inn. Nice. Cozy little place. I don't think this is even 5 miles from where Mom and Dad's lake cottage is. Nice little place. Wow. Well, cozy little thing, huh? I guess the bike will be good right here. It hasn't been that hot.